just last night I was reading Proust, and I was reading a passage I've read a million times, and in French, and I realized that there were some words I wasn't really clear how they were situated. So I flipped to my English version and I looked at it and I thought, oh, you know, huh,
So
I
you
didn't realize that, kind of thing.
that I think I'm gonna say I was wrong earlier when I talked about planning and practice. I think that what you just said is the core of figuring out where to dig and figuring out where to go next. Is
Uh,
you feel the friction, you feel the pressure. There's something wrong here, and rather than try to ignore it, you embrace the cognitive dissonance and you dig into it and you find out, oh, I learned something new here. There was something here for me to discover.
I learned that from, I learned that lesson every day, but I learned that lesson in particular from, so I had let my French go for a very long time, and then until it was embarrassingly bad, and I decided that I was going to do something about it. So I did, but typical of me, I did some things that were quite sensible. And I also did some things that were completely irrational.
Nonsensical.
Yeah. One of them was to begin reading Le Monde Diplomatique again.
Ah,
And it is, so I was meeting a friend and I had just come from the bookstore where I picked up a copy. And the friend I was meeting was Japanese and had lived in Paris for 13 or 14 years and spoke French perfectly well.
yeah.
And he saw in my stack of books the recognizable typeface, and he said, "Oh," he said, I don't read that unless I absolutely have to." And I said, "Oh, but it's so good." He said, "Oh, it's great, but the quality of language is so high that it's just painful."
Uh-huh.
So I took that as a guide,
Mm.
and now every couple of weeks I pick up a copy and spend Sunday afternoon with my analog copy of Le Bon Usage and dictionary and Larousse, and just try to figure out what the hell this guy's talking about. And it's really great fun, and it's good, and it's good for one particular reason. And you mentioned it earlier. It's good that you are struggling. It's good that you're wrong. It's
Right.
good that you don't get it.
Yeah.
And those are all exhausting, but very valuable things. And actually, as you go on, they become less and less so.
That's
Um,
the nature of practice.
yeah. And there was
Uh,
just one more thing I would add to that.
mhm.
I'll try to be quick. And that is that there's this book by a photographer, Watanabe, and it's called Criminal Investigation. And it's very famous. And he follows two detectives who are trying to solve a string of murders.
Oh, neat.
And yeah,
Cool.
he just follows them and takes their pictures. And it is it's absolutely a masterpiece, but it's not the masterpiece one would think of. These are not fabulous photographs. what's fabulous about these photographs is the distance that he maintains from these two detectives. And there are many times when he's right in their faces or right in their ears almost. And there are other times when he's trailing behind them in the street. And there's one gorgeous photograph so full of the street life that you miss this really subtle beauty in this photograph. It reminds me of a drawing of, oh, what's her name? Who wrote Moomin?
Oh yeah, Tove Jansson,
Uh,
something like.
Tove something. Anyway, she has a drawing of the very wise character.
Oh, that guy. What's his name? The Snork? No. Yeah, I know who you mean. The guy who collects butterflies.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's caught in the wind and the rain, and in just this 4 or 5 pen strokes, she captures the sense of lift that his coat, Snufkin. She carries the sense of lift in this
That guy.
coat.
Okay, I remember.
And these photographs by Watanabe capture the same sense of movement and lift in the long coats that these two men are wearing. There's so many other things. They're walking in a muddy street, and there's so many other things going on that it's almost this subtle little footnote, gorgeous footnote to the whole scene.